Welcome to my channel. My name is Oluwatoyin. I'm the creative director of Pop Reality Fashion. Thank you for watching this video. In this video, you'll be learning how to make this sleeve. This sleeve is very beautiful, and you can see that it fits so perfectly well on an Igbo blouse. You can also use it on an Ankara gown, okay, or you can use it on a lace gown. And the steps to do this sleeve is very easy. So let's dive in. Now this is the fabric. I kept it on full so that I'll use it to cut the front and the back. The wideness, the armhole that I'm using is 18 for the armhole, 18, because you have to gather the sleeve. Then the length is times 2 of the actual length. The actual length is 12, times 2 is 24. All right, so I'm marking 24 as the length, so that after you pick the sleeve, you are going to have the person's length back, the actual length back. Now I'm going to take 10 for the round sleeve of the upper part. That's where the sleeve, now the upper part, so that by the time you put elastic to gather on the person's hand. Then I added 1.5 inches sewing allowance, so like you just times 2 of the person's off shoulder sleeve. Maybe the person's bone is 4, times 2 is 8 plus 1.5, so I'm using 5 for this person, times 2 is 10 plus 1.5 sewing allowance. So I'm going to mark the armhole depth. The armhole depth I'm using is I used 7. That's 1.5 for the upper part, because I'm going to be folding 0.75, 0.75, then at least half to fit into the sleeve, the armhole area, because after picking it, it's going to reduce. So I came down by 7 and curve it to the round and the 18 inches that I've marked earlier. Okay, so from that 11.5, I curve it down to that 18 inches. So that's for the armhole area. Then for the down part, I'll be adding 1.5 in order to be able to fold the down part too, so that, because the down part also will have elastic. So I'm adding 1.5 sewing allowance for the down part to fold the down part. Now that's the wideness, 18, but I added to it to form a slant. Instead of using 18, I used about 22 or 21, depending on what you have left, and slanted it up to that 18 at my armhole depth. You understand? I came down by 7 for my armhole depth. Okay, then I cut from the 11.5 to the 18, 11.5 on the up to the 18 at the armhole depth. Now from the down, I took 21 and formed a slant to that 18 up. Okay, so the down part will now be a bit wider. You can see that it's now slanted line. Okay, so you cut from that 21 to the 18, and then you cut the curve of the armhole. That's how I curved it to the 11.5. Okay, so I'm going to cut the upper part, the folds, so that I will have the two sleeves. You can see that cutting this sleeve is very easy. There is no, like, this is the actual measurement you're going to use. You can just play with the fabric that you have depending on how full you want it to be. Okay, so this is it. Now I'll be drawing lines on it so that I'll be able to use the line to pick it. At the upper part, I'm going to leave like 2 inches before I mark my lines. Then at the down part too, I'm going to leave 2 inches because those ones I'll use it to fold. Then when I want to join the down part, I'll first sew the sewing allowance at the side before folding the down hem. So that I can easily put the elastic inside. So after we pick it, it's going to gather up. So for the up, I'll come down by like 2.5 inches first, so that I will use 1.5 0.75 0.75 to fold the up where I'll be inserting the elastic. Then from that 2.5, the down that's when I'll start the line. Then for the downside also, you can go up by 2.5. The reason is that at least you need 1 inch space between the tacks, between the elastic and the tack, so that it will show. Now from that point, I'll be marking 3 inches 2 inches, 3 inches 2 inches. The 3 inches point is where I'm going to be forming the cross, the slanted line that will tack. Then for the 2 inches will be the space in between each tacks, that's each tack lines. Okay, so I mark 3 inches distance, then 2 inches distance, 3 inches distance, 2 inches distance. Sorry, the chalk is not showing. The chalk is yellow, but it's not showing on, and this is white, so I have to be careful so that it doesn't stain too much. So I'm forming that slanted line on the 3 inches distance. That's where I have 3 inches distance. That's where I'm forming that slanted line. Is that slanted line I'm going to pick together. Then I left the space of 2 inches distance, then went to the other one that is 3 inches distance and form a slanted line again, so that there will be gap in between the tack lines. That's the lines that have the tacks. Okay, so you leave the 2 inches line, then go up to the 3 inches line again. You do that for the other side too, following the measurements that you have on the other side, because you know that the fabric is on fold. Okay, so you make sure that the lines matches with the one on the other side. I think I prefer folding chalking it on fold like this because it makes it easier for me. But if you want to keep your fabric open and chalk it, it's all good, so long as you're using this, you're using the same measurement. So just make sure that you have the distance of 3 inches 2 inches. Like you first mark 3, then you mark 5, you mark 10, you mark 3 5 10 12 15. Okay, so that's where you mark it. So that point where there is 3 inches is where you're going to form your slanted line. Okay, so this is what I meant. You can see this distance of 2 inches and distance of 3 inches. Then on that distance of 3 inches, I form my slanted line. Okay, you can see. And then you make sure that the lines are not on the same line. Okay, so I'm going to be picking those points, those 2 points, and I'll tack together. You can actually use machine to tack them. I use machine to tack it because it's faster. So I'm just doing this as an illustration to show you how to pick the 2 lines together. This is how the other side will look after you have tacked the back side. It's the back side you will tack. The front side will look the way I just showed now. So you tack the back side of the sleeve. And this is how it will look on the front. On this is the back side that I've tacked. Okay, so you're going to keep tacking until you tack all the lines, all the points that you have marked out. So this is the outcome on the front side. I have folded it up. For the down, you first join your seam allowance by the sides before you fold the down. Okay, you see, you first join the seam allowance, then you fold it down and leave a space where you'll be able to pass your elastic. Okay. Now for the elastic, you measure the person's round sleeve. Let's say the person's round sleeve for that length 12 is 12. You're going to cut your elastic to be like 11 because already the fabric is much. So you cut the elastic to be like 11 and you're still going to join it. So what you have left will be like 9.5, which is okay. You don't want it to be too tight. Okay, so I'm passing it down and I'm passing the elastic using the space that I left at the down part. So when you bring it out from that space, you're going to hold the 2 points of the elastic together and sew it. After sewing the elastic together, you're going to close the space that you left open. Then for the upper sleeve, the upper part of the sleeve where the shoulder is, you can use like 8 for the elastic length or 9. Like I said, the fabric is much and you don't want it to be too tight. It's better if it's loose, you release and you hold it a bit. But if it is tight, you may have to loosen it. You may have to cut another elastic for it, like loosen it and cut another elastic. So you're going to hold it down at the 2 points before you join the hand to the sleeve. So this is how it looks. It's so beautiful, and in fact the owner really loves the dread and the blouse and the sleeve it's giving. Thank you for watching this video. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. Please like and share.